From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, June the 14th, 2022. The White House today officially announced U.S. President Joe Biden's trip to the Middle East next month, which will begin with his visit to Israel. The White House said the president will visit the Middle East from July the 13th to the 16th to reinforce the United States' ironclad commitment to Israel's security and prosperity and attend a summit of the Gulf Cooperation Council plus Egypt, Iraq, and Jordan, known as the GCC plus 3. In Israel, the president will meet with Israeli leaders and visit the West Bank, the White House said, to consult with the Palestinian Authority and to reiterate his strong support for a two-state solution with equal measures of security, freedom, and opportunity for the Palestinian people. He will then head to Saudi Arabia, which is current chair of the GCC, for the summit. Israel's Foreign Minister Yair Lapid tweeted, "We look forward to welcoming POTUS to Israel. His visit will be an opportunity to further deepen the special relationship between Israel and the United States and to highlight the unbreakable bond between our two countries." Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett tweeted, "The State of Israel welcomes POTUS, Joe Biden's visit to the region, including his important visit to Saudi Arabia, and thanks him for his efforts to strengthen the country's joint interests and expand regional peace." In addition to this, Bennett noted the U.S. and Israel will be forging agreements set to strengthen the civilian and security cooperation between the two countries and take the U.S.-Israel alliance to new heights. And Bennett met today in Jerusalem with Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi, where Bennett's office said they discussed ways to enhance cooperation between Israel and Italy, the implications of the war in Ukraine, ways to deal with the global food crisis, and possibilities for cooperation in energy, especially in light of the potential for exporting natural gas to Europe via Egypt. Renowned Israeli writer Abi Yehoshua has died. Yehoshua was a prolific writer, essayist, and playwright. His many works include Facing the Forests, The Lover, A Late Divorce, and Mr. Mani. He won the Israel Prize and the Jewish National Book Award, among many others. Prime Minister Bennett called Yehoshua one of the pillars of Israeli literature, a man whose words many have read. As he left this morning, Bennett wrote, he left an audience of readers full of appreciation for a man who took part in shaping the culture of the State of Israel. Abi Yehoshua died today. He was 85 years old. Well, the U.S. led 21 other countries in a firm stance against the recent Commission of Inquiry report released by the UN Human Rights Council regarding Israel's war with terror group Hamas in 2021, which laid most of the blame for the violent conflict on Israel. During a debate on the report in Geneva yesterday, U.S. Ambassador Michelle Taylor told the Council, "We believe the nature of the COI is further demonstration of long-standing disproportionate attention given to Israel in the Council and must stop, and that the Council should address all human rights concerns regardless of country in an even-handed manner," saying there was concern that the COI will further contribute to the polarization of a situation about which so many of us are concerned. Israel's foreign ministry welcomed the statement, Foreign Minister Yair Lapid calling it a day of change at the Human Rights Council, a day on which morality is overcoming hypocrisy. Enough with the bias, enough with the obsession with Israel. Lapid thanked U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken for leading what he called a necessary step, and every one of the countries signed on this statement, Lapid wrote. Those countries are Austria, Bulgaria, Brazil, Canada, Cameroon, Colombia, Croatia, Eswatini, Germany, Guatemala, Hungary, Israel, Liberia, the Marshall Islands, Micronesia, Nauru, the Netherlands, North Macedonia, Palau, Togo, and the UK. The Times of Israel reports that Israel, for the first time ever, will send a delegation to the Invictus Games next year. The 2023 Games, an international sporting event for injured and ill veterans, will take place in Dusseldorf, Germany in September of 2023, with over 500 competitors from 20 countries. The Games were founded by the Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry, in 2014. The Invictus Games Foundation tweeted today that it is delighted to welcome Israel to the Invictus community of nations. Chairman of the IDF Disabled Veterans Organization, Eidan Kleinman, welcomed the news.
The IDF Disabled Veteran Organization is pleased and proud to take part in the Invictus Games to represent the states of Israel in its membership in the organization. Wounded IDF men and women who are a shining example of great rehabilitation and excellence in sports and all walks of life represent the states of Israel in the international competitive sports circuit and will continue to honorably represent Israel at the Invictus Games.
Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Tuesday, June the 14th at 7 o'clock. Rabbi Ammiel Hirsch speaks to his congregation in the aftermath of the Uvalde shooting on coping with the tragedy. At 7:30, Rabbi Charlie Cytron-Walker discusses the January 2022 hostage situation at his synagogue in Coleyville, Texas, with Central Synagogue's Rabbi Angela Buchdahl, whom the gunman insisted on speaking to during the crisis. That's moderated by Abigail Pogrebin. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with Fran Klagsbrun on L'chaim. At 10, Abigail Pogrebin speaks with Matti Friedman about his book, Who by Fire, Leonard Cohen in the Sinai, that tells the story of Cohen's concert tour to the front lines of the Yom Kippur War. And coming up next, it's the ILTV's Insider. And that's the JBS News Update for Tuesday, June the 14th, 2022. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.